Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Cannabis Tech Talks. I'm Patricia Miller, and joining me today is Matt Cohen, CEO of Lively Spirits. Lively Spirits is a psychotropic spirits company, which recently launched Purejuana, a soluble powder intended to be an alcohol replacement. So thanks for joining us, Matt.
Thanks for having me, Patricia.
Yeah, my pleasure. So let's start with you've had kind of a long career in cannabis, even before the legal scene. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got started in cannabis.
Well, I've always been on the legal side. It's just been a long time for that legal side to become regulated, right? So the law Proposition 215, which is the medical marijuana law that passed in California in 1996, made it legal as soon as 1997, January 1st, 1997, that was the law, right? It became law. Unfortunately, when the people wrote that law, it was the activists that wrote that law didn't write any regulations to go along with it. So a lot of the early days were kind of considered gray market days, but we have always operated on the up and up and worked our asses off to do so. I dropped out of college to do this, and when I did that, I was always going to be in the legal business. Yeah. So back in like 1998, I was at CU, University of Colorado in Boulder. We produced a newsletter called The Enforcer for campus. It was about the drug war. And I was an activist on campus. And I read in my own newsletter about what was happening in Oakland with the Oakland Buyers Club and the civil injunction from the Clinton administration, which resulted in the first Supreme Court case, Oakland Buyers Club versus the Clinton administration. That's when I became very aware of dispensaries are opening up and assuming that were implied in the law. There's like three of them. And if they're implied in the law, then there's also implications for how they are supplied, right? So we are going to make the bold decision that we think that cannabis corporations that grow flower are also legal. So we formed those corporations in the Bay Area back in '98 with people like Robert Raich was my attorney back then. Rob Raich was the attorney for the Oakland Buyers Club at the Supreme Court case. So he also incorporated my first companies back then. And there was like 3 dispensaries in the Bay Area, and we supplied them all. And that's how I got started. And then, so I evolved as a grower to become a dispensary operator. At one point, I ran the Oakland Patients Group, which just precedes Berkeley Patients Group and Harborside Health Center. Built roots and, planted roots in Mendocino County and the Bay Area, growing indoors, outdoors, organically, synthetically. Co-founded the Emerald Growers Association, which is now the California Growers Association. And then I found myself after being raided by the federal government because we were the pilot for the Mendocino County 9.31 program. It was the first program to license and regulate grows. Wow. And we were the poster child. We had international media from this. And because of that, they tried to make an example of us, and they shut us down. They raided us. It was captured on Frontline. The whole raid was captured on my night vision high def security system that was given to Frontline that did an expose on it like over 10 years ago. And then I found myself partnering with Steve D'Angelo at Harborside Health Center. We merged the entire North Stone Organics infrastructure, the farm relations, the e-commerce infrastructure into Harborside, which allowed them to now deliver to 9 Bay Area counties and contract flower for the top shelf. I worked with Steve for about a year or so, and then I ended up getting out of the plant touching side and got into the tech side and developed the world's first cannabis dryer through a company called Trike. So I kind of a hack engineer kind of guy, science guy, and got into that world for a while with Trike. And we brought Dutch greenhouse technology to the cannabis business. Formulated tissue culture media formulas and things like that. So we did a lot of advanced stuff. We're a bit ahead of our time. And that did not work out. And I was in between gigs, and a nutraceutical company reached out to me and said, hey, we got a bunch of technology. We need a cannabis guy. You're the cannabis guy. I had some tech as well, some concepts that had been left over from my days, working at Trike. And we kind of put those ideas together and formed a new company with 5 different founders. Fast forward till today, that company was taken over by me. It was a tumultuous founder stuff happened back in the day. That's all kind of behind us now. And I took this unique technology and decided that, we should pioneer the dry spirits category, and we should really make what is akin to alcohol spirits, a cannabis product that could power cocktails, the cocktail occasion. The cannabis adult beverage space right now is pretty much seltzers, right? So what else? What's coming next? And we thought cocktails was the way to go, and that we could really make that kind of product, because we could deliver you the pure essence of the plant, the aroma, the taste, and the unique effect with our technology into this powder that powers cocktails. So that's where the term dry spirit comes from. It's a double entendre. It's dry. There's no alcohol. It's also dry. It's a powder, but it's a spirit because it can power cocktails. And it's the spirit really of the plant in this product.
Oh, I like that. So can you explain a bit what makes it, different from other cannabis infused beverages?
The biggest thing is that there's really hardly anything other than distillate powered beverages these days, right? So distillate is a highly refined, purified THC, right? So the waste product from the flower business, the trim, the smaller buds that don't sulfur as much, anything that's not going to end up in joints or in a bag of weed, goes to these large processors where they really destroy almost all of the compounds, and the final result is this like 90+% pure THC solution. And that liquid oil is used in emulsions from companies like Vertosa and Source and other companies out there to power ready to drink beverages. So all the other ready to drink beverages in the market today are powered by distillate. So they all have the exact same experience. They might have a different taste. One might taste like blood oranges, or one might taste like lemons or something because of the flavoring additives for the seltzer. But when it comes to the experience of the cannabis plant, it's a flat, non-strain specific experience. It does not bring you an aroma. It does not bring you a taste. It does not bring you a unique effect. You can't modulate your energetic highs or your more relaxing highs. And what we're finding is, because we've been able to weaponize and make highly bioavailable these 100+ volatile compounds in each cultivar, that we can really curate the experience. That's unlike what is even possible with alcohol. I'm sure I could get a bartender to debate me on this. Hey, there's tequila makes you kind of crazy, and whiskey kind of makes you a little angry, or, and vodka's kind of middle of the road. But I don't think, what we're talking about here is, you drink 3, cocktails that are powered by Blue Dream, you're going to be chatty. You're going to be talkative. You're going to be standing up. If you're drinking 3 cocktails of Venom OG, the other end of the spectrum, you're probably going to be staring at the wall. You're going to be much more relaxed. And the alcohol business can't really do that well. I mean, the closest thing to it would be like a Red Bull and vodka. Right.
Yeah. So I haven't, in my experience so far, I haven't seen any strain specific powders.
There's, the edible business has been after this trend for a while, because strain specific is something that's interesting. Something that's versus cured. All distillates cure. You can't make distillate and keep the live compounds live, because you're cooking the stuff. You're cooking it at very high temperatures, and destroying and volatilizing the delicate compounds. So even if you were to take a live extract and put it in a gummy, you're still going to have the same experience, because your stomach acids are going to destroy all those terpenes, and they're not going to be psychotropic. What's going to happen is that delta 9 THC that you've ingested is going to find its way to your liver. It's going to become emulsified. It's going to convert to 11-hydroxy THC, and you're going to have the edible high, right? So unless you're using an emulsion technology, it doesn't matter if it's live or cured or distillate or how premium that oil is. It's going to go to your liver. It's going to convert to 11-hydroxy. So all edibles have that same high. If you use an emulsion with distillate, you're going to have a rapid onset effect. You're going to have a delta 9 effect. It's not going to go to your liver. However, if you're using distillate, it's going to be that same distillate high. So The most advanced edibles in the market that are using live products are still the same effects as the non-advanced inputs. And all of the beverages that are using distillate all have the same high too. So we're really differentiating between all the edibles and all the beverages in that we are the only way to ingest the cannabis plant, the strain, cultivar, and have its unique effects without combustion.
Okay.
Only possible way to do it in the market today.
And how are you able to preserve the integrity of the plant?
Great question. It's a long haul. It starts way back at the plant, right? I mean, we have to choose that right plant. It has to be grown to pure expression, it has to be grown at the right cost under the sun sustainably, because that's where our value set is. It needs to be organically grown, not USDA certified organic, but the USDA owns that term. We can't call this organic, but grown with organic best practices. We believe that will give you the purest expression. Then you got to retain that expression. So we freeze it right there the day we pick it.
Okay.
And then that material is then goes through a live extraction process that does not adulterate any of those volatile compounds in any way. And then we emulsify that oil with a food grade organic taste good emulsification formula that's proprietary. And then we take that like pancake batter type stuff, and we dry that on a proprietary drying machine that we invented and built. And that dries the emulsion at ambient temperatures. So there's no pressure, there's no heat, there's nothing to volatilize those smell and flavor compounds. And we've also made them so that they bypass first pass metabolism, which means they're not going to go run to the liver and have a delayed onset like an edible. They're going to be rapidly absorbed like a electrolyte, right? It goes right through. Your body knows how to sort through that stuff, right? If it's an oil, it goes, we got to digest this more. Go to the liver. Let us emulsify you. If it's ready to go, it'll go right through your digestive system, right into your bloodstream. So we essentially trick the body and then make the cells marry up to our product and love it, is really what's kind of going on. But the preservation side, there's a lot about never hitting high temperatures in the whole process, the whole way through. So we're never volatilizing anything. And then the powder, when it's dry, is now stable. And that those active ingredients are inside of a vessel that has been stabilized the product. So the powder doesn't smell like OG Kush, right? But the minute you drop that powder in water, it smells just like the greenhouse at harvest. It comes back to life.
And so does it taste like cannabis then?
Yeah, it tastes just like a high quality dab of an awesome strain, right? Or, even like a dry hit off of a premium joint. Like if you just take a dry hit and taste the strain, that taste, the best part of the taste, not the cellulose and the green chlorophyll tastes, but the premium tastes that are found in premium live resins and things like that, and live rosins, is coming through into the glass. Certain strains don't work that great. They taste awful. And even though they might have a great, name, like, some sort of banana something or whatever, they might not taste that great. So we had a lot of R&D to figure out which strains the growers were willing to grow, that had the right yields, that were available in the market, that tasted good, smelled good, had a name that people would be interested in, and had an effect that was admirable, that was, marketable, that we thought that people were going to like, because we want people, after they had a couple drinks, like they've sessioning their way to their buzz, to land at a buzz that there's going to be a memorable buzz. And there's a big difference out there. I think we help reveal the real truth of these strains on what they provide to you psychotropically, because it's so gently absorbed into your system.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a lot of science behind it, and I love kind of exploring that and diving into the different ways to manipulate the plant and the production process to create really wildly different results. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. You're so passionate about it, and you've been involved in the scene for a long time. Where does that enthusiasm come from? Why are you so stoked about the plant?
It picked me, I think. I think the plant picked me out because one of the first time I consumed it when I was in high school, like immediately I just felt right. Like I felt like something with like there was a missing piece in my psyche. So my body loves cannabis. You ask my wife, she'll tell you like I'm a much better person when I have plenty of cannabinoids running through my system. And it's just always been that way. And I've tried in the past, in my younger years, thinking to myself, well, maybe it's not the best thing for me. Let's try to dry out and see what that's like. And it doesn't work for me. I feel better when I consume cannabis. So then when it became a big part of my life, I didn't like breaking the law. Because I didn't consider myself somebody that was a law-breaking type of person. Mm. So it pissed me off, and I got mad in college about it. And ever since then, it was like really kind of trying to protect my own liberty. And then I started looking at other people's own liberties around it. And so I was very passionate about my own liberty. And now that the plant's being freed, it's really fulfilling for me, to see this drug war, kind of crumbling, and been on the front line this whole time. The risk of going to federal pen with a 10-year mandatory minimum doesn't seem to be that likely anymore, but there's certainly been plenty of times where it was highly likely for us. And so I think, it's become my life's work. I love Purejuana. Like Purejuana is a lifesaver for me because I can't drink alcohol anymore. I've got a severe case of gout, that predisposition to gout, and alcohol triggers it. So I absolutely can't drink alcohol. Wow. And smoking, I prefer to drink it over smoking it now. So it's kind of replaced smoking and drinking alcohol for me at the same time. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And I've taken a lot of risks in my life. So, making this one hit is really important to me. I'm very passionate about, basically bringing something so potentially world changing to the market too. If this makes a dent on alcohol and makes a lot of people happier and healthier, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, it's super exciting to think that we could be showing people an alternative. Like that's comparable. And I think the predictability, the consistency is going to be super powerful for people, especially people who maybe are reluctant to try cannabis because they're afraid of the effects. Like, oh, I don't know how it's going to affect me. How long is it going to last? Is it going to be too strong? So I can really appreciate that predictability. And then Lively Spirits, do you have other projects that you're working on or hoping on for the future of the company? Because right now you've got Purejuana. What's your next big project that you want to do with Lively Spirits?
Originally, the company had all this technology and was looking at powering products, like being an ingredient company. And when I took over the company, I started looking at like, okay, how do we go direct to the consumer with these products? Like how do we leverage this technology to make awesome consumer products? And Purejuana was a really obvious one. And then we realized, there's a lot of other plants that are getting freed right now. And those plants also have bioavailability issues, like the medicinal or psychotropic compounds are oil-based and are going to have to go through first-pass metabolism, or they're alkaloids that are still going to have to go through first-pass metabolism. So we realized that, as these new plants, think plants like or fungi like psilocybin, right, or even kava that's legal now, there's ways to improve these plants that have psychotropic properties to make them taste better, be stronger, have quicker onset, be more sessionable and predictable, and that they're all going to have the same problem that cannabis has, and that you're not going to be able to mix them with alcohol as a preservative. Alcohol is regulated, and I don't see these psychotropic plants and alcohol getting regulated together at a federal level anytime soon. So you got to have some other way to preserve this product, and so getting the water out is how you do that. You reduce the water activity and you preserve all the volatile compounds. A lot of these other plants also have volatile compounds that can steer the effects the same way cannabis has the entourage effect, right? That's why smoking distillate versus smoking distillate with terpenes is a completely different experience, because the terpenes can modulate the effect of THC. There's similar analogs with psilocybin and other different types of psychotropic compounds out there. So our play is to, as these plants are freed, make them available in the most common way people are used to recreating, which is drinking, right? It's accessible. And that we will continue to build out more and more dry spirits. And I think the most likely next one would probably be psilocybin. And we think that we can make it sessionable. We think we can make it manageable. So it's not going to give you a stomach ache. It's not going to taste like crap. It's not going to take 20, 30 minutes to kick in. And it's not going to have a ride for, 4 or 5 hours. It's going to be something that you could take at a concert or at a retreat or whatever, however you're using it medicinally or recreationally, that you have a controlled dose, onset and offset.
Wow, that would be so powerful. That's wild. How did you think? I mean, I know there's so many regulations and stuff around it, or, restrictions around working with that at this point. Is that something that's
we're not really touching it now because it's not legal yet, but we know enough to be dangerous about what's possible with our tech. And we made the bold move of saying, hey, we're not the old company everybody used to think we were, which was called Trichome Bio back in the day. And we were trying to be an ingredient company. We're a new company. We're a customer facing company. And we're going after the cocktail market with as many psychotropics as we can. And Purejuana is the first one.
That's awesome. How exciting. Well, where can people go to learn more about your work and follow what you're doing?
Purejuana.com is the most obvious place, purejuana.com. And then, connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to follow what I'm talking about, out there in the world. And then you can purchase the product at purejuana.com and have it delivered to your door in all of LA County and Northern Orange County. We're opening up more fulfillment around the state. There's dispensaries across the state that carry the product. There's maps on our website. You can see about that. And then I encourage people when they come to the website to sign up for our events, because this is, as you could tell, this is a lot. This is a majorly disruptive new product. And it's kind of hard for people to just accept what I've said on face value. So the way to really get it is to come to one of our free events and drink some cocktails with us. You'll see for yourself.
That's awesome. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to touch on that maybe we didn't cover during our chat?
Nothing really comes to mind for me. You've been a great interviewer. I appreciate your time.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm always excited to learn about new technology, and disruptive tech is my favorite. So
is there anything other questions you have about the tech that you want to know about? I mean, I know that's kind of the focus of the show. There's a certain amount of places I'm not willing to go, but feel free to fire off a question. I'll take you as far as I'm willing to go.
Yeah, I would love to learn more about the technology itself. I was reluctant to ask because I know you'd mentioned there were proprietary processes, and I don't know how deep you can dive into it, but can you elaborate a bit on how the technology works, or how the process unfolds for doing this? I know we touched on it briefly earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, getting live product into an emulsion has to do with, choosing the strains, growing them and freezing them, and doing live extraction and making live concentrates. There's a lot of people doing that in the market today. So we have some new unique ways we do it that are novel, but I think that other people are making live concentrates, right? So that happens. The emulsion side of it is really where the magic is, how you get this active ingredient to just rapidly absorb, right? And what I can tell you about that is that a lot of people in the business think of, hey, it's about being small, right? And I can tell you that we don't think that's the whole story.
Okay.
We think at the end of the day, you just want cells to love you. So how do you make cells love you? And I think we've been lucky in that we started off with a value set around organic products and things like that, and really clean label. And that's what we've been working with and messing with. And we've been able to get our product to perform without the use of lots of other pharmaceutical chemicals that the other companies are trying to use right now. And we think it's actually given us an upper hand in terms of how the product can onset and offset. And the psychotropic nature of all the other compounds involved. And then, of course, once you've got this emulsion, once you dry it, we believe that drying it actually helps it become more powerful and more effective than its liquid form. So the rehydrated version of it is better than the never been dry version of it. That's something that we believe, and that this drying technology and how gentle it is also a real key element of it all. I'm not willing to talk about how we do that, but I am willing to talk, dance around a little bit about, what we're doing there.
And does it seem like, maybe having more of those chemicals and things that you mentioned, does that make the cells love it a little bit less? I mean, is it harder to?
I think that is I think that makes sense to me. Again, what we started off as a company that had, major chief science officers and a huge science team and so we had gone down the road of doing tons of research because we were looking to power AB InBev. I mean, I was trying to do deals with Tilray, back as the biz dev guy. And we realized that those companies expected a lot. They wanted to see all these pharmacokinetic studies and so forth, but we weren't doing what other people were doing. We weren't just making pure THC and trying to track do blood draws and see where the THC is going in your system and how fast. We're doing the whole plant, all those compounds and how those compounds interact with your endocannabinoid system. And that's very, very complicated stuff. And the cost of just going through all those types of pharmacokinetic studies to see how this entourage of 100+ compounds is impacting these people's endocannabinoid systems on a blood draw was like, whoa. And we talked to several universities about it, and they basically were like, look, let's just start with THC. And I'm like, okay, you already lost me. We're not, we need to get to market, and there's already a product that's awesome. So I'm not going to wait to be able to tell everybody why this ratio of limonene and myrcene and, caryophyllene and different types of canaflavins and major cannabinoids are all working in harmony with this type of endocannabinoid system. We need decades of research, to really be able to say, this is why. So we operate a lot on our own instincts. We drink this stuff right as it comes off the tap, just like a brewer would. I don't think you're going to be talking to a lot of brewers out there going, oh, this is what's happening pharmacokinetically with my beer, So that's the track we've taken, and that's why we don't go B2B. That's why we're not looking to be an ingredient company. We're looking to just create an experience for the consumers and keep making it better and better and better.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you diving a little deeper into it with me.
No problem.
All right. Well, on that note, I'll ask any of our listeners out there, if you enjoyed today's discussion, feel free to follow us on Apple, Spotify, our Radio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our summer issue is also available on Barnes & Noble newsstands right now, so run out and grab a copy or download it via Magster issue. And until next time, this has been Patricia Miller and Matt Cohen. I'm signing off.
Today's episode of Cannabis and Tech Talks is brought to you by Enlighten. Enlighten helps companies in the cannabis space better understand, navigate, and reach customers throughout the entire customer journey. Enlighten's team of technologists, data analysts, and marketing professionals provide technology solutions and marketing services so clients can identify, attract, and retain new customers and unlock new opportunities that will increase profitability and help them gain competitive advantages in the market. Enlighten also supports small and emerging brands in the market with a simple and effective self-service platform called AdSuite. To learn more about Enlighten and everything they have to offer, go to getenlightened.io.